Got home after a weekend with my old friend and found my closet emptied, my wedding ring sitting in the trash, and a note on the mirror. Enjoy your new life. My hands shook as I checked my phone and saw my husband had sent proof of my affair to my entire contact list. Let me start by saying I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just need to get this out because the last 48 hours of my life have destroyed everything I thought was stable. And the thing is, I deserved most of it, but not all. I came home from what I told my husband was a girls' weekend in Nashville. That was a lie. I was with someone else. Someone I knew a long time ago. A friend from before I met my husband. We reconnected on Facebook a few months ago, and it turned into more. Stupid, I know. Selfish. I thought I was being careful. I wasn't. It was a Sunday afternoon. I remember because the airport was packed with families and tired business travelers. I'd Ubered home from the airport because my husband said he had plans with his brother. I didn't think anything of it, but when I stepped through our front door in Brentwood, Tennessee, something felt wrong. Off. Our dog, Daisy, was gone. Her food bowls were missing. She's never boarded. My husband always keeps her with him. That was red flag number 1. I set my suitcase down. The living room was spotless. Like, too spotless. Not a single throw pillow out of place. Remote stacked perfectly. No coffee mug in the sink. My husband's shoes weren't by the door. I called out his name. Eric. Nothing. My chest started to tighten, but I told myself maybe he was still out. Maybe I was just overthinking. Then I walked into our bedroom. My side of the closet was stripped. Every hanger bare, every drawer open and empty. Jewelry box wide open, except for a couple broken pieces tossed aside. Even my toothbrush was gone from the bathroom. But right there in the trash, sitting on top of a used tissue and a clump of my own hair, was my wedding ring. I picked it up with shaking hands. My skin went cold. And then I saw the mirror. In thick black Sharpie, across the top, enjoy your new life. My heart dropped. I ran to my nightstand. My charger was gone. The spare key. My passport. I ran back into the hallway, grabbed my phone out of my bag, and that's when I saw it, one unread message from Eric. No words at first. Just images. I opened it. 8 photos. All from this weekend. Me in bed with Jason. The guy I told Eric was just an old friend from college. A selfie I didn't even know he took of us sleeping, spooning under the covers. Screenshots of the texts I'd sent Jason, every disgusting word laid out like a confession. I wish I'd met you before I got married. He doesn't touch me like you do. This weekend is all I've thought about. Then I saw the label at the top of the message, all contacts. He'd sent it to everyone. My parents, my boss, my coworkers, my friends, his friends, our realtor, even our couple's therapist. I checked my email. Same message, same photos, sent to everyone. My hands were shaking so hard I dropped the phone. I sat on the floor for I don't know how long, staring at the trash can where my ring still sat, this time face up. I tried calling him. Straight to voicemail. I texted him. Please. Eric. Please just talk to me. Nothing. The next thing I knew, I was in my car, driving aimlessly, trying to think. My face was hot, but I wasn't crying. Not yet. The full weight hadn't hit me. I didn't even know where to go. My mom wasn't answering. My boss had sent a 2-word reply, "You're fired." I parked in a Kroger lot and just sat there. For hours. Watching people come and go with their groceries, like the world hadn't just burned down around me. I spent the night in a cheap motel on the edge of town. One of those places where you don't feel safe unless the bolt is locked, and even then you sleep with your shoes on. I couldn't face anyone. Not my parents, not my sister, and definitely not anyone I worked with. I called in sick, not that it mattered. HR already knew. My phone had been going off nonstop all evening. Messages. Missed calls. Voicemails. half of them angry, the other half silent. My dad left me a voicemail. First time I'd heard his voice shake like that. Your mother doesn't even want to speak your name right now. We don't know what the hell's gotten into you. Don't come here. I couldn't even call him back. The next morning, I checked my bank account. Half the money was gone. Vanished overnight. Eric hadn't moved it. He had control of the main account since he made more and handled our bills. I had about $600 left in my personal account. That was it. I called our bank. They confirmed he'd closed the joint savings. Said the funds were legally his because I had voluntarily vacated the residence and there was no restraining order or pending divorce yet. I asked if they could at least freeze the account. They couldn't. I hung up before I said something I'd regret. That's when I realized he was taking everything. Not just the money, not just the dog, not just my dignity. He wanted to erase me completely. And he was doing a good job of it. I went back to the house 2 days later, hoping he might be there. Hoping we could talk. I just needed one conversation. Just something. The locks were changed. My key didn't work. I stood there with my suitcase, looking like a lost idiot. A neighbor I barely knew came outside with her trash and gave me this look, like I was some kind of criminal. I tried to smile, but she turned away fast and shut her door. Then, about an hour later, I got a call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. It was Jason. The guy I'd ruined my marriage for. And his voice? Cold. Shaky. I don't know what the hell your husband sent to my job, he said. But I've been put on leave pending investigation. My wife has my phone. She kicked me out. My kids won't talk to me. What the hell did you do? I froze. What do you mean your job? I didn't send them anything. Then how did he get my wife's name? My boss's number? My home address? I had no answer. I hung up. That's when it hit me. Eric hadn't just gone after me. He went after him, too. He must have found Jason's info from the texts, maybe even followed us during the weekend. I didn't even notice. I never once looked over my shoulder. I was stupid. This wasn't a clean break. It was a slow execution. And now? Now I had nothing. No home. No job. No husband. No fallback plan. But something in me clicked that night. Eric wanted me erased? Fine. But he forgot one thing. When you burn someone to the ground, sometimes the ashes come back hotter than the flames. I stayed off social media for a few days. I couldn't face it. I knew people were talking. Knew the group chats were lit up, especially the one with our old friends from church. The same people who'd been at our wedding, who brought casseroles when Eric's dad died, who posted relationship goals under every picture we ever shared. But on the 4th day, I cracked. I logged in. My stomach dropped. Eric had posted a video. A calm, slow, well-lit video of himself sitting at our kitchen table. My kitchen table. His voice was clear, steady, like he'd rehearsed every word a dozen times. I was married for 7 years. I thought she was my best friend. I gave her everything I could. I thought we were building a future. But it turns out, the person sleeping next to me had already left. I found out about the affair 2 weeks ago. I hired someone. He followed her. I saw the hotel photos. The texts. All of it. She looked happy. So I decided to let her be. He looked into the camera. No tears. No yelling. Just cold. To everyone who knew us, family, friends, coworkers, I'm sorry you had to see those pictures. But I won't protect someone who broke me. I'm not ashamed of how I handled it. She made her choice. I'm just making mine. Over 1 million views. Thousands of comments. Most of them cheering him on. Some were worse. Screenshots from our texts. Bits of my personal photos from years back, private moments taken out of context, thrown out like meat to wolves. I saw someone comment, "Hope she ends up alone forever." That's when I found out something else. Eric had gone to the HR department at my job, not just with the affair details, but with screenshots showing I used my work email to book the hotel. That's how they justified the firing. He didn't just want me out of his life. He wanted to crush me. I wanted to hate him. But the worst part? I kind of didn't. Because he wasn't lying. Not about the betrayal. Not about the texts. I had been selfish. I'd broken our vows first. He just broke back harder. Still, something about this felt deeper than just heartbreak. This was strategic. Like he'd planned every piece of it. The money, the video, the locks, the legal moves. And now this? I started digging. I had nothing else to do. And that's when I found the folder. Buried in my cloud storage, in a shared folder Eric used for our taxes. A file he forgot to lock down. Inside? Screenshots. Old ones. Messages between me and an old coworker, before Jason. A short-lived flirtation from a year ago I'd thought was harmless. But Eric had saved it. Then photos from our old therapist's office, one session where I'd cried about not feeling connected, not knowing what I wanted anymore. He'd recorded it on his phone, illegally. There were receipts, too. A private investigator's invoice. Gas station purchases dated the exact days I was at yoga or grabbing drinks with Claire. He'd been building a case for a long time. Not since 2 weeks ago. More like a year. Maybe longer. He didn't just want to expose me. He wanted to ruin me, legally, emotionally, publicly, and with the precision of a damn surgeon. And now I couldn't shake one thought. If he could go this far without me ever noticing, what else did he do? What else was coming? The next morning, I got served. A knock on the motel door. A woman with a clipboard, not a word spoken beyond asking if I was Mrs. Harper. She handed me a thick envelope and walked off before I could say anything. Inside? Divorce papers. Filed in Davidson County Court. Full packet. Already signed by Eric. The cover sheet said he was seeking full financial separation, spousal fault due to infidelity, and claiming emotional distress. He also wanted full custody of Daisy. I broke down right there on the motel carpet. Sobbing. I hadn't cried in days, but this cracked me wide open. Daisy wasn't just a dog. She was our dog. My comfort after miscarrying 3 years ago. The one who slept by my feet every night when Eric used to work late shifts. And now he wanted to take her too. I called the one person I thought might still talk to me. My sister. She picked up, but her voice was tight. He called Mom last night. Told her everything, even the part about the therapist. They're embarrassed, not furious. But mostly just hurt. I didn't know he was building a case, I whispered. I thought, yeah, well, you didn't think a lot of things, she snapped. There was a pause. I thought she might hang up. But instead, she asked something that chilled me. Did you check your credit? What? Just do it. So I did. And sure enough, 3 new credit card applications. All denied. All in my name. Someone had tried to tank my credit score. I'd been at 730 just 2 months ago. Now? Sitting at 520. I checked the mailing address on one of the applications. It wasn't mine. It was our old P.O. box, the one we stopped using last year. The one Eric never closed. I knew then he was going to bleed me dry. And I was done playing defense. That same day, I got in touch with Rachel, a woman I used to manage before I got promoted. She now worked at a local law firm downtown. I asked if she could connect me with someone, discreetly. She called me back 2 hours later. You need to speak with Joanna Price. Family law, but sharp. Has handled some brutal, high-profile divorces. She's quiet, but cutthroat. Exactly what you need right now. I met Joanna that same evening in her office after hours. A small brick building behind a closed Thai restaurant. No one saw me go in. She listened. Didn't flinch at the details. Just asked questions. Did he ever threaten you? Imply harm? Ever say something like, I'll destroy you? No. But what he's done feels like psychological warfare. She scribbled notes. Then said something that stuck with me. If he crossed into identity theft or financial sabotage, this can go criminal. Not just divorce. You could fight back. But it'll be war. I looked her in the eyes. Good. She nodded slowly. Then let's hit back. And when we do, we hit hard. Joanna worked fast. Within 48 hours, she filed a motion to contest the divorce terms and halt financial division until we could fully audit Eric's activity. She also filed a separate civil complaint citing potential identity theft. It wasn't a criminal case yet, but she said it could be. And if we found proof he tanked my credit intentionally, we'd drag it into court. She gave me one job while she built our case. Dig. Look for any patterns, any behaviors, any pieces I'd missed. So I started going through old messages, emails, even voice memos. I scoured through every old backup on my cloud. And that's when I found something I hadn't noticed before. A folder of audio files, recordings I didn't recognize. I clicked one. It was faint, but clear. She doesn't know anything. I've got everything saved. If she pushes, I'll bury her. It was Eric's voice. Talking to someone else. Male. Not Jason. I played the next one. Just get the hotel footage. If you can grab a room number, I'll handle the rest. I'll pay extra if you don't ask questions. He'd hired someone. Not just a PI, someone shady. Someone who got hotel surveillance footage without a warrant. Which was illegal. That was the edge I needed. I gave the files to Joanna. She listened, stone-faced. This changes things, she said. If we prove he broke privacy laws, we can flip this. And if he used illegal methods to tank your job, we may be able to sue your employer for wrongful termination too. But you need to prepare yourself. This is going to get uglier. And it did. Because a few days later, I got a message from Eric's sister, Amanda. We hadn't spoken in over a year, not since a stupid argument over Christmas plans. But her message was short. You need to know something. Eric isn't who you think he is. Call me. I didn't want to, but something told me to listen. She answered on the first ring. I didn't want to be part of this, she said quickly. But I saw the video, the one he posted, and then I saw your name in the news. The credit thing. The job. I recognized the pattern. What pattern? She hesitated. He did the same thing to Melissa. My stomach twisted. Melissa was Eric's ex. The one he rarely spoke about. He told me she cheated, wrecked his credit, left him broken. Said it took him years to recover. He told me she was the crazy one, I said. Amanda sighed. She wasn't. She tried to leave. Found out he was talking to other women behind her back. When she confronted him, he flipped the story. Told everyone she was unstable. Sent stuff to her boss. Tried to get her fired. Froze their joint accounts. Sound familiar? I felt like I'd been punched. Why didn't you warn me? Because I didn't think he'd do it again. I thought you two were different. But when I saw what he did to you, I knew. You're just next in line. I hung up and sat there in silence for an hour. Eric hadn't just retaliated. He'd followed a pattern. Calculated. Controlled. Cold. Everything I thought I knew about our marriage, how he'd loved me, how he'd been broken by me, it was all built on a lie. He hadn't just reacted to betrayal. He'd engineered the entire downfall. And now? I had proof. I had a lawyer. And for the first time since I walked through our front door and found that damn ring in the trash, I had a reason to fight. Joanna filed the motion to open a formal investigation into Eric's use of private surveillance and financial sabotage. We submitted the audio files. We attached Amanda's sworn statement. We even got a forensic tech to confirm the metadata on the recordings hadn't been tampered with. And then something happened that flipped the table completely. Jason's wife filed a lawsuit too. She wasn't just angry, she was smart. She worked in tech security. When she found out Eric had hacked Jason's cloud to get those hotel pictures, she filed criminal charges. Wiretapping. Unauthorized surveillance. Data breach. Now Eric wasn't just facing a divorce. He was facing criminal exposure. Fast. His lawyer reached out to Joanna the next week. They wanted to settle. They offered me the house, half the savings, and full rights to Daisy. No apology. No admission of guilt. Just silence and a buyout. Joanna told me it was a strong deal, but I didn't care about strong. I cared about fair. So we refused. We went to court. And that's when everything came out. Eric sat in that courtroom calm as ever, wearing a blue suit like this was just another meeting. But when the judge heard the recordings, him talking about paying someone off to get hotel footage, him saying he'd bury me if I pushed back, his face cracked. And when Amanda took the stand and cried about Melissa, the lies, the smearing, the financial games he played last time, Eric's hands started shaking. Joanna was ruthless. She laid everything out: the financial manipulation, the illegal surveillance, the attempts to destroy my reputation and Jason's, the illegal credit card applications. My own faults were laid bare too. The affair, the lies, the betrayal. But the court saw something deeper: intent. Eric hadn't acted out of pain. He'd acted out of strategy. Cold, calculated strategy. In the end, the judge didn't just rule in my favor. He ruled that Eric had violated multiple civil laws. He was fined $65,000, forced to pay back my legal fees, lost the house, lost Daisy. The credit damage? Court ordered him to pay restitution and submit a signed letter to my employer, admitting he'd misused information to damage my standing. And the cherry on top? Jason's wife's criminal complaint stuck. Eric was arrested 2 weeks later. He's now facing charges for illegal surveillance, wire fraud, and privacy invasion. His clean record? Gone. I walked out of that courthouse holding Daisy's leash, breathing air like I hadn't in months. I won't lie, part of me still hurts. I did cheat. I betrayed trust. I started this mess. But Eric? He turned it into war. And I fought back. He wanted me to suffer in silence. Wanted me erased. But I'm still here. Standing. Speaking. And he's exactly where he belongs.